Joe Tamargo from WetheadPumpRepair.com. Alright, welcome to another edition of Wethead Pump Repair TV. Today we're going to be working on this sand dollar pump. This is my boy Robert. What's up, man? Come on over. Alright, so a customer had dropped this pump off locally to us. It's a sand dollar 2-speed pump. And the customer was like, yo, my pump just hums. Now, a lot of times if your pump just hums, it can be two different things, right? One time your bearings can be seized, right? And the bearings inside can be seized, they won't work. And sometimes it can just be something simple as a capacitor. Now, not all motors will have capacitors. So if you're watching this video and going, oh my God, thank God, it's just a simple little part, you may not have a capacitor in your pump, and that can cause you a problem. So on this sand dollar pump, if you've Googled it and found like sand dollar repair or sand dollar pump humming, you've come to the right place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on this A.O. Smith motor where the capacitor is, and I'm going to show you also what it does. Okay, so I'm going to bring this pump a little close. Now, the customer dropped this off, and he was like, yo, my pump's just humming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this pump in, okay, over here, my little outlet, and I'm going to turn it on high speed and low speed, and let you at home hear what it sounds like. Okay, listen, check this out. Ready? Here's low speed. Okay, now here's high speed. Now you can see the lights will dim here, and it'll get a hum. Now, when you get that hum, okay, you think to yourself, okay, well, Joe's saying it's a capacitor. Now, there's some other things you want to check to be sure, because like I said earlier in the video, the motor could be seized and the bearings could be frozen and the pump's not going to turn no matter what. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take a nut driver, 1/4 inch in size, and you want to remove the center nut right here, okay? Now, when you remove the center nut, be careful, because sometimes these pumps are rusty, and if you go to remove it too quick, you're just going to snap it and be like, ah, man, that sucks. So work it back and forth a couple times if you have to. You know, a little bit tight, a little bit loose, a little bit tight, a little bit loose. And then once you start getting it going, you would remove the nut just like this, okay? Now, once you remove the nut, you can move this switch assembly right out of the way. See, there's a switch assembly there. Now, in the center here, if you look real close, there's a little place where you can put a flathead screwdriver in the center of the shaft, right here. So you want to check to see if the shaft spins. Now, see, on my pump, the shaft spins back and forth, which means my pump is not seized. Now, if you go to spin this in this shaft right here like this, and you can't spin it like, oh man, this thing's frozen. Okay, you need new bearings and possibly a new seal. Check out our other videos and we'll show you how to change the bearings and seals in that pump. But if you can spin the shaft like just like this, like I'm doing here, okay, then that means chances are you might need a capacitor. Okay, so on the back of your motor, see this black thing here? That's your capacitor. Now what you want to always do is you always want to make sure you disconnect your pump, okay, completely from the outlet, okay? Now I just spilled my Arizona iced tea on the floor while I was shooting this video, so I can bend down for a second. Wait, I spilled it again. Alright, so, that's what we did. Robert was laugh. Hey listen man, I'm sure you spilled the drink when you're working on stuff. That's why you want to keep the clear table, but when you're doing videos, wash the wires. Okay, so my pump is now disconnected from the outlet, okay, and what we're going to do here is we're going to remove this little set screw. Now once again, remember, these screws sometimes are really tight and they're rusty, so you don't want to work them back and forth. So I'm going to loosen my capacitor screw, okay, just like this. Alright. I'm going to loosen the screw right up in here with the nut driver. And once we loosen the screw, we'll be able to slide the capacitor out, just like that. Okay? So here's my capacitor. Okay, and what we're going to do is remove the capacitor, the two wires. You want to look at the positions of where your wires are. See here? Look at my two different positions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the two wires, okay, with the needle nose pliers. Just like that. Old capacitor. Now I'll take the new capacitor, which is right over here. Okay, I'm going to put the new capacitor on. Now, how do you find out which capacitor is what, right? On the side of your capacitor, you'll see a number. Like, see right on this capacitor, it says 108. So if you go to WetheadPumpRepair.com, take the numbers off of your capacitor, you can match them up with what we sell. See, here's a BC108. Okay, so take this new capacitor. There it is. We're going to hook up the two wires across from each other, like I showed you in earlier step. Alright, just like that. Your two capacitor wires are hooked up. I'm going to put it inside the capacitor mounting bracket here on the back of the pump. Okay, you can see that there. Okay, and I'm just going to tighten my capacitor back in. Make sure it's nice and all my wires are tucked in the right place. Okay, so I'm going to tighten that capacitor up just like this, so it stays in place, right, Robert? Mm-hmm. Don't talk too much, man. You're trying to talk over me, right? All right, so once we do that, we're going to put this back cover back on, like so. Okay. All right, there's our back cover, okay? Our back cover is on. You tighten this. You can tighten your center screw up here. Now, sometimes before you put your back cover on and tighten everything up, you might want to leave it loose to make sure it works, okay? Because that might not be your problem. But here we go. So I've got my cover loose here, but you can see my new capacitor is on, okay? So here's the new capacitor on the sand dollar pump, okay? We're going to leave the switch loose a little bit. And then underneath is your switch. So I'm going to plug my pump power back in here, this time without spilling over my Arizona iced tea, okay? And now if you see, here's our high-low switch. We're going to hit the pump. All right, check this out. Ready? There you go. See that? The pump runs. High speed. See that? Now before with that bad capacitor, right? No go. Let's see that. There you go. Sand dollar. Low speed. And then high speed. So, once you get that new capacitor in there, you can slide your back cover just on like that, just like I just did. See that? Take your nut driver, tighten it down just like this. Okay? Make sure everything is nice and tight. Okay, give it a couple of taps around the edges. Tighten it up one more time. Just like that. And that's it. Once again, we'll show you low speed, high speed. Alright, and a capacitor, they sell on the website for $10 plus shipping. So if you have a sand dollar pump and it's humming and your shaft is free and you're like, oh my god, I just realized that when I googled this pump it's $349 brand new and I can get a new capacitor, there you go. Alright, so this is Joe Tamargo from WetHeadPumpRepair.com. Thanks for coming, Robert. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe by hitting the button up top. Alrighty? And thanks for watching. Sand dollar pump. Be sure to stay tuned for the next video because as you noticed, this pump is a little noisy, so what we're going to do is go ahead and pull this back apart, and we're going to change the bearings and seal this pump. Alright, so go ahead and watch the other videos, and we'll show you how to change bearings. Thanks for watching. This is Joe Tamargo. Peace.